With two teenage girls found dead in the past week, the calls to action grow louder. And now the state assemblyman from the neighborhood where Chelsea King was from has vowed to push for tougher laws. Nathan Fletcher says he is putting together a coalition that includes the district attorney, law enforcement officials, lawmakers from both parties, and citizens to evaluate the current system.
This group will evaluate all the laws on the books, Megan's law, Jessica's law, everything that has been passed, with the sole focus being on finding any area, any possible solution that will strengthen our system, better protect our children, and make it work better.
Doesn't necessarily.
Well, the governor's action is in response to Assemblyman Fletcher's formal request for an investigation into the Department of Corrections policy. And Assemblyman Fletcher joins us here on San Diego 6 in the morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Were those records not kept somewhere else in some other form? I mean, it's not like they completely disappeared.
Well, that was the question we asked.
Okay.
Step one of the process has to be an evaluation of where the system broke down. And so we requested, we would like to see the full parole record to figure out where it broke so we know how to fix it. And corrections delayed and stalled, and we kept pushing. And finally they said, well, the records have been destroyed. And it makes absolutely no sense to me at all why you would ever destroy parole records of a sexually violent predator when you've been told there's a high likelihood they would reoffend. So we demanded they change the policy. Their spokesperson came out and said, we think our system works fine, which is appalling to everyone in San Diego to say that the system worked. It clearly failed. We demanded an investigation late yesterday that the governor did the right thing, and he ordered the Department of Corrections to change their policy and never destroy another record again, which helps us moving forward. But we still have a lot of questions for corrections, and there's a lot of answers we want to find.
Many things need to be changed. And, you know, you're pushing for Chelsea's law, which still has yet to be worked out.
Sure.
I know this is very, in the initial stages, but you already have the support of Chelsea King's family.
Sure. I've spent a fair amount of time with Brent and with Kelly, and it just breaks your heart. I mean, as a parent, it's every parent's worst nightmare. And when you meet with them, you see the sorrow and the agony, but you also see the strength. And you see their commitment to enacting real changes to make sure that this doesn't happen to other families.
Well, we have some laws that are in effect, but California, and on our legislature especially, seems very reluctant to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law and then to enforce the laws that we already have. How do we begin to sort out which one of these violent offenders that we give options to the prosecution, so forth? Well, you know, this sentence, that sentence. Where do we begin to sort out which ones to take off the street permanently?
Well, and that's a part of the process we're going through. But I don't believe for sexually violent predators that target our children, I don't believe that's something you can rehabilitate. I don't think that's something you can. Well,
fix. And we have various experts that come in, and the bottom line is that I push and push and push that very question. Nobody's willing to say with 100% degree of certainty this person will not reoffend. In fact, they are more likely to say, well, there's a high likelihood that a certain percentage will reoffend. We just don't know which ones.
So for those most dangerous ones, we need to lock them up and keep them there.
But nobody's willing to say that guy right there is likely to reoffend, so he's never getting out on the street again. Then you're not applying justice equally to people. So that's the dilemma we get into.
And making sure that our system focuses the highest priority and the most attention on those most violent, those most dangerous. And so we think there's a number of areas in the law that need to be strengthened, and sentencing is clearly one of them. GPS monitoring is one of them. We spend a lot of time talking about where these folks live. Well, I want to talk about where they go. So creating safe zones where they're not allowed to go, schools, parks, bus stops, and GPS monitoring. I think there's a lot of ideas out there.
Have you heard from Amber Dubois' family yet in any of this, or are they likely to come on board? So
we've reached out to them, and I mean their loss is equally tragic, and I know from reading their statements their commitment is equally great. And we just said we'd love to have you join what we're doing and be a key part of everything that's going, because it's not just Chelsea and it's not just Amber. But it's all the kids out there that have been victims of these that haven't gotten the attention. And this is on the minds of every parent. You know, children are afraid right now. Parents are afraid, and we have to take action.
I heard on Facebook that there's this 6,000 people since last week that have already signed up on this Facebook page, support one strike law for sex offenders. So obviously there's a lot of people with the same train of thought.
Sure, a lot of energy. Now we just need to do it. And as you mentioned, a lot of these ideas, you know, the public overwhelmingly supports, but the legislature time and time again has voted down.
Exactly. It's not like they haven't been asked to do this before.
That's right. But that'll be our first avenue. If that doesn't work, then you can always go to the people.
All right. Congressman Nathan Fletcher, it's great to see you.
Thanks
for coming in. Please continue the work on this, push it all the way through, update us, and let us know how we can get the word out to the public.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming in. All right, for more information, you go to san diego6.com. You just click on Hot Topics.